Steph with Steph's on a Budget. Welcome or welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a debt update for how we ended at the end of March. We weren't able to get a debt update up for February. It just kind of got a little crazy with videos and stuff. I just never squeaked it in, I guess. Even though February was a great month as far as debt payoff went, we stayed on track. We made some good progress, and March was even better. So I'm super excited to share the end of March numbers with you guys. March is going to be pretty unique. It was not like a magic paycheck or a magic month for us. We got our 2 paychecks. However, the way that I break up our pay cycles throughout the year, March ended up having 3 paychecks, if that makes sense. Some of the numbers are going to look a little funky because of that, and it gives us like a little extra boost because instead of the usual 2 pay periods, we had 3. Yeah, it's just kind of the way it works out. I know that sounds really weird. Hopefully you're somebody who's subscribed and you watch the budget with me, and that makes a little bit more sense as I'm talking through it. But nonetheless, you'll see that we have a couple of double payments, even though it was like March's payment and April's payment is what's happening there, because our March month actually ends April 4th. So there's a couple bills in the beginning that had to get covered, if that makes sense. Okay, enough rambling about that. Let's just jump on in and see what the numbers look like. I am in my budget workbook. We are looking at 2 forms that I use from the Budget Mom workbook, her printable version. So we're looking at the debt payment plan, and then we're also looking at what she calls the net worth tracker. I don't currently track net worth, but there's a liability section on here that I use to track the beginning balances for the next month. So in this case, we're going to put April's beginning balances over here. So that's the 2 forms I use for my debt tracking. Let's start on this side. So the way I have this set up is I just have all of our debts listed. They're not really in any particular order other than the first one is our current debt that we're working on. We're not really using a snowball or avalanche method right now. We have a couple of 0% interest cards that were balance transfers that we're working on paying off, and I'm just kind of working them by the timeline in which that 0% runs out. So that's kind of how it's ordered right now. So you'll see our first debt is our Discover card. Its balance for March started at $5,616. It's at 0% until the end of June, so that's why we're hustling to get this one done. Our minimum payment right now currently sits at $147. Now, this last section in her workbook is structured to be the order. I actually changed that because that just doesn't matter to me, and I feel like if it really did, you could write it over here. I chart here. It's my nursing life taking over. I fill in the amount that I actually paid for the month over here. I like to see how much I paid in total, and there's not really a section for that, so I just kind of made it my own. So for our Discover card in March, we paid, you guys, are you ready for this number? I can hardly believe it. $3,191 went to our Discover card in our March month. So between 3 paychecks, so this includes like our normal minimum payments, any extra payments we make, a ton of savings challenges. A big chunk of this was because we finished our debt binder. So that is super exciting. Okay, next up we have our Citi card. Its March balance started at $3,698. It's also at 0% interest, and we got a notification. They gave us like an extra month at 0% because apparently they were delayed in getting us the like physical card, although I didn't feel like it, but hey, I'm going to take it. So it is 0% now through the end of January 2025. So that's super exciting. We got an extra month there, and we paid, its minimum payment is $115, and that is what we paid. So we paid $115 to this card in March. Okay, next up we have that new debt we started in January with for our new ovens. We threw a big chunk at it initially, and now we're making the minimum payment. It started at $2,985. It's at $125 minimum, and that is what we paid. Next up, we have my student loan. It started March at $6,444.75. There are 4 student loans in total. They range from 3 to 6%. There's only one that sits at 6% right now. The others are at the 3. The minimum payment here is like $94 and some change. I just round that up to $95. I actually pay $100 per month. Now this is one of those that gets weird. There's March's payment and April's payment because this is due on the 2nd of the month. So we actually put $200 towards March's budget towards our student loans. Same with our truck. So our truck started at $57,111.89. It's at 4% interest. Our minimum payment is $1013, rounded up to get the change out of there. So we made March's payment and April's payment because it's in the beginning of April that payment is due. So we paid, just to keep the change out of that, we're just gonna say $2,026. So it's like a double payment for these 2 things. So in April, it's going to look like we didn't make a payment, but in reality we did. It's just in March's budget. So then we have our Subaru. It started at $25,391.90. It's also at 4%. Our minimum payment is $459, and that is what we paid for March. I took the mortgage out, you guys. I'm no longer going to be including that in there. I just, I don't know. I just don't want to. So we're not going to. So the next thing we're going to do is add up in total how much we sent to debt with all of our payments. I like to see that number as well. All right. I definitely did something wrong there. Let's try that again. All right, so we sent $6,116 to our debts for March. And again, that includes a couple of double payments, one being a pretty big one towards our truck payment. So it's about $1,100 more than usual. But then the rest of the extra of that is how much we were able to snowball. So that is super exciting when you look at what the minimum payments are. Let's just figure that out. Our minimum payments, if we were only paying those and nothing else, only adds up to $1,954. And we're sitting at $6,000, you guys. So that's great. Again, considering the extra payment. So you do have to take that out of there. Anywho, that is what we were able to pay in March. So before we can get our total month balance, we have to find the new beginning balances for April, and that'll show us how much of our debt that we were able to knock off. So I'm going to move the calculator to this side now, and then we're going to come to this liability section. And what we're going to do is just list these out. So we've got Discover, all right. So our beginning balance now for April on our Discover card, you guys, I cannot believe it, is $2,425. That is so exciting. We jumped down past the 4s, past the 3s, and well into the 2s. That is awesome. I love when you tick down to like the next 100th or the next 1,000, depending on your debt. Like that's so satisfying to me. And it's a really good way to keep up your, when you have a lot of debt like we do, you just find those small ways to find the win. It's really important that you do that. It just helps keep you motivated and to recognize like, hey, it's small progress, but it is progress and we're doing it. So I love to find just little wins like that where you can. Okay, our city card started at $3,698 and it now is at $3,583. So we came down to the next 100 there, which is great. Then we have our oven and its new balance is $2,860.96. And then we have our student loan, and this one changes daily because, student loans have like the daily interest. So it's at $6,271.04. We're getting really close to getting under $6,000. I'm super excited about that. Okay, next up we have our Tacoma. Again, we had a double payment situation here. So its new balance is $55,494.74. So super exciting. We came down $2,000, and next month it'll come down even to the next $1,000. So we're really picking up some momentum now that we're a year into our truck payment. Less is going to interest, more is going to principal, which is always great. Same for our Subaru. So we started at 25. It's now sitting at $25,028.84. So didn't quite come down to the next 1,000, but we're really close, and we definitely will for April, which is exciting. Okay, you guys, those are our beginning balances for April. So the next thing we want to do is add these all up. That's going to give us our this month's total debt balance, and we'll be able to figure out how much came off. Holy macaroni. I am super excited about this number. So our new debt balance for April is $95,663.58. So that is awesome. So what we'll do is now we can figure out how much we paid in March. So we started March at $101,322.75. We now are at $95,663.58, which means we are again under $100,000, which is so exciting. So if we take away the 101,322.75, that means we are minus $5,659.17 in our debt. Yay, so we knocked off $5,600 roughly, which means we've lost a little bit to interest, which is expected, you know, and not too much. Couple $100, you guys, that's okay. And most of that is going obviously to the big car payments. So then we're going to carry over that same 95,000 to this side. And in January of, no, not January, I'm sorry. When I started this debt journey with you guys, we were under $100,000. I think we were at like 88, 89, if I remember correctly. And then we purchased our Subaru. So we added a good $29,000 back into our debt. And so that's where the 122 comes from. And we're back down to 95. So let's take the $122,819.02 that we starting our debt with, minus the new balance, 95,663.58. And that means from our original number, we are down $27,155.44. You guys, that is insane to me. I'm so excited. This was just such a good month for us, which is exciting because it means we're working our budget well. You know, the numbers are in our favor, and we're really prioritizing debt, which is our goal. So that's exciting. And we're also able to save a little bit at the same time, you guys, in sinking funds and an emergency fund and all that good jazz. So, you know, you can do both and still keep the main focus of debt payoff to the forefront and be successful. I am really excited to share this debt update with you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed this video as well. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button to stick around to see how next month goes. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.